here. And we are going to go ahead and start the webinar even though we have multiple people signing in right now. But we don't want to keep you waiting here. So just wanted to advise you that this is going to be pretty interactive. We'll be asking for input from you on best practices and how we can all grow as a group, as an agency, as a van line, and we know that you have a lot of the answers as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Katie now, and she's going to be moderating, and we'll move right along.
Thanks, Judy. So our webinar is Keeping Busy in the Off-Season. Well, guys, the busy season isn't over. Now's the time to take action, get things accomplished, really put yourself in a primary position for the upcoming peak season. I hope most of you got to watch our video that we had sent with the invitation. Those are sometimes very comical. Is going to be about today. So I hope everybody got to watch that. If not, it is in the invite, and it'll be posted on SVL TV afterwards. So we're going to start each day with a plan. S is first. Start each day with a plan. If there's something you've been putting off, get to it. Maybe it's getting involved with the call center. Whatever it may be, make sure you take advantage of this time and make it happen, because before you know it, it's going to be May 1st and we're going to be back to the peak season. There's a few things, a few tools that you can use that might help you stay organized and on task. The first one is use your iPhone or other smartphone. You can set reminders, take voice notes, use the internet on it, basically wherever you're at. Another one is with Outlook. There's no reason that your email shouldn't be synced from your work phone to your laptop, a tablet, your phone. Take advantage of the technology that's out there today. Another thing is Evernote. It's designed for note-taking. You can utilize this during a meeting or to recap a meeting that you just had with a client. You can sort them into different folders. There's a free version of it actually online that you can download to familiarize yourself with it, but then there's also an extended version that has more features, and it's just about $5 per month. So you can Google it, and there's tons of information, and a lot of our salespeople use that. If you're not interested in the new technology, you can always bust out Mr. Frank. If you're wondering who that is, it's the good old Franklin Planner. So whatever it may be, stick to what works best for you, but try and stay organized and on task during this time. E is for existing business partners, and what we mean by that is take advantage of your network. Take advantage of the Keller-Williams relationship that John Burkhart and Stevens have worked so hard to put in place. Right now we have about 50 agents working in the program, but Keller-Williams is just one agency. You can get in the door with your other local real estate agencies in your market. Another thing is to network with property managers. Get into the senior homes or high-end apartment complexes and meet with them and, put your flyers up, send postcards, just get in the door. You might have logistics companies in your area. Stop in, put your name out there with furniture distributors. There's many opportunities out there. It really is just taking the first step and getting out there.
Katie, can we, I'd like to interject here for a minute. Yeah. We just topped the $1 million mark in September for the Keller Williams program, and really we rolled it out in April.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a very successful program for our agents and for the van line. Does anybody have any suggestions, other like local relationships that you want to share with the group? If you could put your hand up, we'll unmute you there. Roger, do you have other suggestions while we're waiting here?
Well, those are some great ones to start with. I like the tone of what we're talking about, and that is about being proactive versus reactive. Those aren't words we necessarily talk a lot about in sales, but it's a temptation as a salesperson because all summer long, you show up at the office, they tell you here's 4 appointments, or they load them on your schedule, and you run off and you do them. And we can get into the habit of being entirely reactive. And being successful means that whenever possible, we take control of our future, we take control of our present, and that's about being proactive. Again, technology, not all of us are Google experts, but that's another thing when business slows down. Learn, learn, learn. You don't want to be like a travel agent. I don't know how many of you remember, Katie probably doesn't even remember these, but 15 years ago, if you planned a trip, you called a travel agent. Nobody ever thought anything would happen to the travel agency industry, but guess what? Today, go find a travel agent. They're almost extinct because they got left behind by technology. Technology is changing, and as salespeople, we need to study, we need to learn, take a class to be the best you can be.
Yeah, we did have one question raised. We just want to make sure that everybody on board can hear right now. Brian Marshall, I'm going to unmute you. Can you just confirm that you can see the screen and hear what's going on?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Ari, can you hear now?
Ari?
Well, we'll post it on SVL TV if for some reason it's not working now. But the first L in spell. What's that?
Did we lose Brian?
Nope, I just I remuted him.
Okay.
He's fine. He can hear.
I think we're good to go. The first L is for lock down the undecided. Reach out to your undecided customers. Try to get to at least 5 to 7 per day. If you keep in touch with them and are engaged in their weekly routine, your name is more familiar to them than the salesperson who just made one call or one visit. Some great conversation starters could be as simple is, how is the sale going? Is there anything that our agency can do to assist with the sale? Maybe it's just moving some of the clutter out to make the house more presentable. It also could just be purchasing some curtains, or pretty basic. So again, utilize your existing network and keep in touch with your potential customers. The last L is LinkedIn and other social media. It's vital that we understand social media marketing fundamentals. So what we have here are the 10 laws of social media marketing. The first is law of listening. Listen more, talk less. Really learn what's important to your audience. The second is law of focus. Build a strong brand. It has better chance for success when you have a strong brand. The third is law of quality. Always, quality trumps quantity. Remember that one. The fourth is law of patience. Social media is not going to happen overnight. It takes some time. We've had a few agents out there that we're actually learning things from them because they have mastered the use of social media in their market, and they've had a lot of growth with it. Law of compounding. If you publish quality content and work to build your online audience, you'll have quality followers. They'll share it with their own audiences, like on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and other, certain blogs that they have. So really focus on having value to your content. Number 6 is law of influence. Spend time finding the online influencers, the ones who are in your market and would be interested in your services and business. Number 7, law of value. If you spend all your time online directly promoting your services, people stop listening. You need to make sure, again, that value is in your content. You have strong information that you're putting out there and not just, the same thing over and over again. Number 8 is the law of acknowledgement. You wouldn't ignore somebody who reaches out to you in person, so you never should ignore somebody who reaches out to you online. Acknowledge every person who reaches you. It's very important because then that can, even if it's a negative reach out on, maybe your Google Plus page or Yelp or something, it's always important to respond to that and really acknowledge them. Number 9 is law of accessibility. Don't publish your content and disappear. Be available to your audience. If you're going to commit to it, fully commit to it. Number 10 is law of reciprocity. You can't expect others to share your content and talk about it if you don't do the same for them. So designate some time on a regular basis to publish and share their content to your online influencers. And really, that's just strengthening that relationship that you have with your followers.
Roger, do you have anything to add there?
I think there's a lot of good content there. I think all of us as salespeople, we're trying to figure out how social media works for me personally. Most of our agents have some social media efforts with Google+, Facebook, but as salespeople too, you have the ability and really the obligation to develop your network. All of us have that dusty pile of business cards we've collected over the last 3 years from events we've been to, and we stick maybe a rubber band around them, and maintaining our database means when the rubber band dries up and breaks, we put a new rubber band on it. Well, guys, there's better purposes for that, and that is to use things like LinkedIn. And Katie shared some great stuff here. I actually took a screenshot of it. I want to process through that. You can touch a lot more people using your social media tools than you possibly can. Even every day when you're making connection with your existing network, this is a great way of staying in touch. The 15 minutes a day, it's enough time to where you can work on it, and part of what you do is you learn. Follow people that are successful. Follow people that have good content out there. You don't have to invent everything yourself. Maybe the law of imitation could be law number 11.
I like it.
Exactly. We learn from the people around us, because this is becoming a more and more key influencer for business buyers as well as for consumers. If there's some of you also, next month we're going to be calling on some of our agents to share success stories for our webinar. And a couple of our agents are doing a tremendous job, and I'm going to try and get a couple of them to participate and assist us next month with specifics of what they're doing that is growing their business through social media.
Good. Yeah, what we're actually going to do is when we publish this webinar, we're going to, under each of the laws, there'll be more information so that you can always reference back to it. We just didn't want to, throw it all up here in one time. So some more things that you can do to stay busy in the off-season is cause marketing. You might wonder or ask yourself, what is cause marketing? It's a relationship that bridges commerce and cause in ways that benefit both parties. Stevens Van Lines has a relationship with the National Breast Cancer Foundation. There's many ways that yourself as individual agents can utilize that relationship and incorporate it in things that you have going on. You can sponsor events. Another way is you can decal your units with the breast cancer ribbon. There is a package that we have available for that. You can always discuss this when you're going into the home and talking about Stevens. This is another great thing that people can relate to on different levels. So, talk to your salespeople about it and try and find the best approach and the best way to utilize this. Does anybody else out there have any relationships with other nonprofit organizations that have benefited them or they've built a strong relationship with? If you do, raise your hand out there and we can, we'd love to hear it.
There's a great organization that several of our agents work with called Move for Hunger. You can find them at moveforhunger.org. It actually was started by a gentleman in New Jersey who'd grown up in the moving business, and he saw so much food get tossed from customers that they weren't moving all those cans of food and all that extra stuff. And he coordinated a national program. He's gotten awards. He's been on VH1. But his whole program is that he partners with local movers just like you to collect food from customers that they're not going to take it with them and ensure it gets to the local food bank. We've had a number of our agents across the country. One of our agents shared with me that by the time she got done talking about Stevens Pink and Food for Hunger and what her agency was doing, that it was hers to lose before they even did the walkthrough of the home. People love knowing that a portion of what they spend is going to make a difference.
Yeah, that's great. Let's see here. I don't see any hands raised. Whoops. Another thing that you can do is get involved with your community. Most of you probably already are involved in the community, but there are many organizations out there locally that are looking for partners and companies to help with events or maybe sponsor an event. You might be able to, sponsor a 5K in your area or, a walk or some event. There's tons of events out there. Some of them that we have at headquarters that we're involved with in our Saginaw branch is Habitat for Humanity, the Salvation Army, United Way, and different universities in the area. Just around here, I think we have 3 major universities. So just another way to get involved and get your name out there and, again, put yourself in a primary position so that next, now it'll keep you busy through the off season, but you'll be in a good position for the start of the upcoming peak season.
And Katie, if I can, I'm going to tie this back into something we said earlier. It's important when you get involved in your community that you don't, as the New Testament says, hide your lamp under a bushel. You need to tell people about it. Get some good photographs. Our marketing department can help you put together a press release and get it out to your local community. But even more importantly, that gives you something meaningful and important to put on your company's social media as well as you as a sales professional through your own social media. Tell your story.
Great advice, Roger. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have any questions or more things to add to this? We'd love to hear the feedback. And even if you can't announce it here or don't have it to share here, you can always shoot us an email, and we would love to add this to the presentation. It's great for the rest of our agency family. We're really trying to grow as a team. So anything that you guys might have to share would be beneficial to all parties. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys attending. Please join us next month for another round of Back to the Basics. Again, Roger mentioned we'll be hearing from hopefully some individual agents to share their success stories and, you know, what they do in their area and their market to help them succeed. Oh, we do have a question here. Paul, are you there? Paul?
I'm here.
Okay.
Did you have a question?
No, I had a comment about Move for Hunger.
Uh-huh.
Awesome.
We've been a member of Move for Hunger for a while, and we try as hard as we can to collect donations from our customers, but we haven't had much success doing that. What we have had success doing is it's sort of served as a incentive, a catalyst for us to participate in larger donation drives. We had something called Canstruction we did a while ago, and we're doing something in the works with Keller Williams to have a food drive as well. So that's where we have the success with Move for Hunger.
That's good, and that's, you know, interesting. You know, you started with the Move for Hunger in one way, but adapted to how it would work for both parties, and, you know, made that change, and now you're tying in the Keller Williams, so it's clear your network is growing.
And I've heard that also with some other folks, and some thoughts on Move for Hunger. And again, Brian, I don't know which way you're working. I had some agents that were sending a box out on Move Day, and that was not effective. The ones who are having the most success, they're taking a book carton out. Ideally, if you have your company name printed, is great, but if not, with the Move for Hunger sticker on the book carton, and if you leave that as a point of sale, it's an 80-cent piece by the time you pay for the box and you have the sticker there. The folks that have done that seem to have gotten better returns. So many of them are also offering, even if you choose to move yourself or go some other way, our agency believes in helping the community, so you let us know and we will pick up those items from you. And it comes across as even more altruistic that way. And so play with your method on it would be my suggestion, Brian, and try different ways and see if you can get a little bit more traction.
Good. Tony, are you available there still? I see you have a question also, or a comment. Tony? All right, Tony, you're unmuted, if you can hear me. Tasha, you're also unmuted. Tasha? Roger, are you still there?
I'm still here. You can't get rid of me that easy.
All right. Well, Tony or Tasha, if you might have your microphone muted or something like that.
We're sorry we can't hear you. You know, please, if you have a comment or a suggestion or something that has worked for you, if you could send it in to us, then we will include it when we publish the webinar.
Yeah. Brian, are you available?
Can they type in a question to us if we give them an extra moment? Since the audio's not working, if Tony or Tasha, can you guys type in a question in that little question box there? If we can just give it another minute here.
Sure.
I know sometimes folks, some of these laptops or PCs we think have a microphone, and we find out when you punch live, our microphone's either disabled or not working.
Okay, let's see here.
As a remote employee, we learn these things.
Okay, let me just make this question box bigger here.
Okay. How can we get the breast cancer decals for our local vehicles?
Okay, they're available for any vehicle that is registered in Stevens Service, which includes your local vehicles that are Stevens registered. You can get those through our partner who provides the decals. Currently we are offering a a decal for the back door of your unit that has the pink ribbon. Then it also talks about, it mentions our partner, the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And our partner on that, Katie, is once again our graphics.
Schwartz Graphics.
That's right, Schwartz. And you can contact Katie or Judy or any of us if you don't have the contact information for Schwartz.
Yep, you can contact me. I can shoot that out in an email. Let's see. So we got the how can we get the breast cancer.
I have started doing in the Mesa office for Mooney Movers, mailing out a personal flyer to new homes posted in the market. I know that mass mailing sometimes doesn't work, but with the personal touch and it being in an envelope that has our company name and logo on it, we're waiting to see how it turns out, but it's a start and something a little bit different.
And that was from Tasha, so that's definitely a good start, and I completely agree with the personal touch there.
Mixing it up is a great thing. There was a gentleman I met over in Southern California that on all the homes over $1 million in his market, which I don't know how many in yours, in his market there were a number, he did a person, just like Tasha's talking about, a very personal letter that related more than just, hey, we're a great moving company, but he told them his story that he works personally with high net worth individuals in the finest neighborhoods to ensure a solid relocation experience. He had some good return on those. They're obviously a little more work and a little more costly than a mass mailing program, but for the right customer and the right location, that can be a great way. Good thought, Tasha.
Okay, Brian Waddle says it would be good to mention the meetup groups as well on www.meetup.com. I don't know what that is, Roger.
That's a great, Brian had brought that up, and I thought about it after we got past the existing networks. For some of us, especially if we're earlier in our career, or maybe we haven't done a lot of intentional networking, in addition to calling on some of the real estate offices, there's people in your community that want to develop better connections. BNI groups is one that a number of our agents are involved in. Some of them are involved in service organizations. But meetup.com is a great place to go to. It's meetup.com. You can go in there and search in your marketplace and say, I'm looking for business people or people interested in relocation, or maybe you want to see about women in business, or different things like that. And there are a number of groups that are open to new business partners getting involved, people that network and share leads with one another, that post their access to their group. And again, there's hobby groups, sewing groups, sports groups, but obviously we're looking at business building. Some markets I've researched on there, and there are literally over 100 different groups with various business interests that are open to new members visiting, getting to know some folks, and expanding their network. So Brian, thanks again for sharing that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, Nick. Nick at Colden asked, how soon and where is this webinar posted? It's actually posted if you go to SVL Info, and then it's on the left-hand side, it'll say SVL TV. That's where all of our webinars are posted, and it should be up there, if not by tomorrow, by Friday. So once we make the changes and stuff. So by the end of this week for sure.
And Katie, for some of our salespeople that don't dial into the system, you can also just go to tv.svlonline.com, and that also gets you to the Stevens TV channel.
Good.
It's a shortcut for those of us who don't dial into the system as much. Maybe we can put that on the when you post this too. Which, of course, I guess that's going to be redundant. At that point, they'll already know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian with McAvey says, I don't have any real questions at this point, but who should I speak to regarding the food donation?
Move for Hunger, moveforhunger.org. They're in New Jersey. They are extremely helpful. They will get you going with that. If you want to talk to other agents, shoot me an email. Brian, this is Roger, and I'll put you in touch with some of our other agents that are working with Move for Hunger. But it is moveforhunger.com. .com or .org. Either one works.
Good.
Okay, I think we've hit all the great interaction, good suggestions. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your attending. And we will see you all next month.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Roger.
Hey, thanks for including me. You all have a great sales month.
Bye-bye now.